From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
This is the primetime news bulletin here on Joy News. On multi-TV, this bulletin is seen live across the country from Gambaga to Accra and also on ABN television in Milan, Italy and across Europe. In this edition, after a long break following the destruction of its auditorium by fire, the Judgment Debt Commission resumed sitting to hear what is being described as an attempt to swindle the state of hundreds of thousands of Ghana cedis in claims. Suspect arrested in what the police say was an attempt to set the Makula market on fire. Trainee teachers demonstrate to demand restoration of scrapped allowances. Elsewhere, commercial drivers in Kumasi also refuse to work in protest of what they say is harassment and extortion by the police. And Mental Health Authority downplays fears plan to forcibly remove mental patients from the streets of Accra will be challenged by already stretched facilities. We also have business and a last-minute attempt to stop government from signing controversial EPA, the spiritual deliverance of Ghanaian boxer Ayite Powers, showbiz and international news all coming up. Stay tuned.
News at 8 with Israel Live.
The Sole Commission on Judgment Debts Monday started sitting after a long break. The commission had to suspend sitting after fire gutted the old Parliament House in Accra, which is used for its sittings until December last year. The commission now conducts its proceedings at the offices of the Constitution Review Commission office at cantonments. And at today's sitting, a clan head at Jasekan, the Volta region, is asking government to halt payment of 760,000 Ghana cedis as compensation to some persons claiming ownership of lands acquired by the state. Bentimena clan head Nana Sankrechi Ata told the Judgment Debt Commission to advise the state to review the entire land acquisition process to verify the rightful owners of the land and compensation due them.
Documents show the whole High Court in 2008 awarded a judgment debt of 760,000 cedis to one Emmanuel Ofori for some 32.68 acres of land government acquired in 1943 at Jasekan. But Nana Sankrenchi Atta maintains the Bentiemena clan, which he leads, is the rightful owner of the said land, on which the District Assembly, Education Office and some bungalows are now situated. He denied ever pursuing the matter in court, as documents suggest, adding that he did not know the lawyer Seth Mensah Dumega, who pursued the case on behalf of the claimant Emmanuel Ofori, who was supposed to have been given power of attorney.
This lawyer pursuing this issue, I don't know him, and he has been using my name. Two, I have never set my foot in the offices of the Attorney General, and I thought since it was entering legal, level, then the guy Emmanuel Ofori, whom I had never set eye on, would have called upon me. Quite apart from that, the lawyer who is leading Emmanuel Ofori, who knows better than Emmanuel Ofori, should have looked for me.
The Land Valuation Board originally valued the land at 42,170 Ghana cedis, but the compensation shot up to 760,000 by the time judgment was given. The money is yet to be paid, and Nana Sankrenchi Atta is quite happy with that, at least for the time being.
Not a pesewa should be paid by the government. If compensation will be paid about that place, then we have to go back, survey the whole place, and make sure we are not leaving 1 inch somewhere to come back tomorrow. Nobody, even me, if I should go there to claim one person, I should not be paid. I should be arrested.
According to counsel for the Judgment Death Commission, Dometi Kofi Sokpo, the lawyer claimed the clan head had been removed when he appeared before the commission, though documents suggest otherwise. The Jasikan District Assembly is to be invited to assist the commission in its investigations.
The Accra Region Police is holding a suspect of what they say was attempted arson at the Makula Market. This was after the suspect is said to have been found pouring kerosene on some shops at about 2 a.m. Monday. The suspect was arrested and handed over to the Accra Central Police Station by some security men stationed at the market.
The suspect, whose name was given as Amagana, is believed to be in her mid-30s. She was handed over by the authorities at the Makula Market. According to the public relations officer for the Accra Region Police Command, they have not made much headway in their investigations because the suspect is refusing to cooperate.
They spotted her around 2 a.m. this morning sprinkling kerosene in the market, just around the law school. That's the Makula Market. So she was arrested and this morning was brought here. The complaint was duly lodged. So we have to commence investigation. But we've observed that she's not cooperating, and besides, we are having doubts about her mental capacity. So we are taking her to the psychiatric hospital for thorough examination and a report written on her to inform us on our next line of action.
There have been strong suspicions of arsonists involved in a series of market fires that has plagued the country, especially last year. The state is, however, yet to get a successful conviction of any of the previous suspects arrested in connection with the fires. An investigation conducted by a team of American specialists also failed to establish arson in the incidents that were investigated. Matilda Pamaga for Joy News, Accra.
Over 500 teacher trainees with education colleges in the Eastern and Greater Accra regions have embarked on a peaceful demonstration in Accra. They want a restoration of allowances their predecessors used to enjoy, but which have since been scrapped.
President John Mahama, in his recent State of the Nation's address, made mention of efforts to address the teacher deficits in the country, and one of them is the scrapping of teacher trainees' allowances, which is supposed to increase admissions into the colleges of education. But this hasn't gone down well with teacher trainees across the country, who say that the situation is rather pushing many of them out of colleges. Because
the peaceful demonstration, which started from the Obra spot in Accra, with the heavy presence of security personnel, brought together trainees from the 6 colleges of education within the Eastern and Greater Accra sector. They marched through some principal streets of Accra, chanting songs expressing their displeasure about the move by government. The demonstration, according to the trainees, is to press home their demands for government to review its decision to scrap the allowances.
It is serious. That is why we are embarking on the demonstration. For government to hear us. For government to hear that, look, the scrapping of trainee allowance will not be the best alternative to improve and to increase teacher population, but rather it is detrimental to teacher education, and government must relook its decision. Now, for the first time in the history of teacher training education, first semester, 8 colleges in the IGA sector, you have 300 students withdrawing, which doesn't happen.
The Eastern and Greater Accra sector president, Jacob Lajeku, lamented government failed to honor its promise to absorb their feeding allowance.
We have not heard anything. We finished the first semester. We are in the second semester, and feeding fee has not been paid. And principals are charging student feeding fee 500 Ghana cedis per semester. They paid last time. Now they are paying again, and those who cannot find money to pay, they are being sacked from the school to go home. Where are they going to find the money from?
The group later converged at the Hart Suffolk Park, where the national president of the Teacher Trainees Association stated their demands.
This decision and change of policy on teacher education, we strongly believe, will be very detrimental to the future of education in our country. Taking into consideration the historical antecedents that led to the implementation of allowance scheme and the positive effect it has had on teacher education in particular and basic education in general over the years. We are, as a matter of urgency, calling on you to intervene immediately by restoring the allowance so that the poor trainee will be able to pay their feeding fee and other bills.
The petition was later presented to the director in charge of tertiary education at the sector ministry.
I believe we as a ministry had our position and they also had their position, and maybe we couldn't come to common grounds, but we thought in a way it was also good because it frees the system for a lot of people to be taken on, because during the quota system, because within the Ministry of Finance didn't have a lot of money to pay for allowances, they had to have a quota. So every college of education had a quota. You can't take more than this number of students. But with this policy, you could take as much as you can, because government is not going to pay any allowance.
The demonstration was replicated across 4 other sectors in the country, except for the voter sector, which failed to embark on the demonstration over supposed threats from their college heads. Matilda Pamagan for Joy News, Accra.
And teacher trainees in the Volta region have expressed disappointment over the school heads' refusal to allow them to join the scheduled national demonstration. According to them, the heads prevented them from leaving their schools for the demonstration to push for restoration of training allowances.
Addressing a news conference at Ho on Monday, the Volta sector president of the trainees, Prosper Shitie, described the situation as an affront to quality teacher education. According to him, the Principals Conference of the 7 colleges of education in the Volta region deliberately refused granting students permission to go out of their campuses to hit the streets. He further added that though they duly informed the police and all concerned authorities, including the National Principals Conference, they were still denied.
Because this promise was never fulfilled. We are therefore calling on government to take its own policy and give us back our allowance so that we can cater for our own people.
SRC President of the Piki College of Education, Eric Awuto, who said he had to sign an exit stating false reasons, told Joy News his principal threatened his colleagues with possible sanctions should they attend the scheduled demonstration. They, however, maintained they are in support of their colleagues' call for the restoration of the allowances, especially since government has failed to honor its promise to pay their feeding fees. Komlados reports from the Volta region for Joy News.
Deputy Chief of Mission at the U.S. Embassy, Patricia Alsop, has called for more opportunities for women to contribute to national development. In an exclusive interview with Joy News' Gifty Ando-Apia, she says women can do much more than they are currently doing if given the opportunity.
Patricia Alsop spoke to Joy News as part of the Embassy's commemoration of a month-long celebration of women. The Women's History Month is also celebrated in the United Kingdom, Australia and Canada. It has been used to celebrate women's contribution to development in diverse ways since its declaration in 1987. Here in Ghana, the U.S. Embassy holds on to the tradition.
Well, a few days, Ghana joined the rest of the world to celebrate International Women's Day. Should society really be tired already about women issues or about affirmative action? Or is it that women have been so relegated for so long that we just have to keep talking?
2014 marked the 100th year of International Women's Celebration. Patricia Alsop refused assertions that women are only attention-seeking, given that decades have gone by and there are still calls for more opportunities for them.
I believe in the more educated levels of society that may be more of the case that women are beginning, and I wouldn't even say they have completely been able to take their rightful place, to take an equal place. Gender equality, really at all levels, we still have a ways to go.
She commends Ghana for its number of female ministers, adding the contribution of women to the development of America cannot be overemphasized. Hence, her conviction that women in Ghana, particularly in rural areas, can contribute more productively when given the right opportunities.
In many cases, I think you'll find in rural communities, often girls are not educated because they feel it's not important. That has to change. That has to change. In farming communities, for example, it is women who do a lot of the farming. And so they're the ones who need to learn about new agricultural techniques to increase their productivity.
On enhancing empowerment of women in Ghana, Patricia Osap says it is time, especially for women, to be more supportive of themselves and others.
It's women working together. It's women teaching each other from their experiences. And I think that's so important that women who have made it, who've been successful in business, reach back and help other women.
She said the continuous contribution by the United States government to girl, child and women education further attest to the country's commitment to women's development.
Sharing with Ghana, of course, the experiences of America's Women History Month. She believes that women and girls can do much more than they're actually doing if they are given the right education and the appropriate environment. For Joy News, Gifty Andopia, American Embassy.
Still to come in the bulletin, beginning next month, all mental health patients caught roaming the streets of Accra will be forcefully seized and sent to the psychiatric hospital for treatment. And I have good news to share with you about little Ezekiel, who has been living with hernia for more than 5 years because his mother could not afford a 200 cedi surgery. That comes up after the break. Commercial drivers operating between Kumasi and Ejisu in the Ashanti region are accusing the police of harassment and extortion. They say the police arrest them indiscriminately, even at authorized bus stops, for all manner of flimsy reasons. The drivers, out of frustration, demonstrated in the Kumasi metropolis to draw attention to their plight, inconveniencing commuters in the process. A report by Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin.
The aggrieved drivers refused to work on Monday and rather chose to demonstrate at Tech Junction to register their displeasure. Some of the drivers were on the streets to ensure their colleagues do not break ranks and weaken their front in the process. Our cameras captured some of them who tried to forcefully offload passengers. It took the timely intervention of the police to disperse the drivers. About 3 drivers were arrested by the police, but that did not stop them. At the Tech Junction, where most of the drivers were gathered, Cho-Cho drivers going about their business were made to explain why they were not complying. Some of the drivers spoke to Joy News.
Adia police for you, Kumasi, I say, no ordering. So, what you can pass out man, and now the can never fee. Yes, you are hearing him, you said maybe I can driving working on, but the other business is Seattle. If you are just on the background, so we can't take that to say, yes, Seattle. If you come never, who's now so you come at who will do 10 dances, so a bus stop on us, so much in 3. So, police on the private car, one side, and then you're playing now, could was you, and you tell the Biana traffic walk, a corner, your chance was 1 million, 2 million, and I'm not going to come on, but when you have to have a popcorn, 4 to 5 million, 6 million, so just I'm not coming my police in the ministry. Just I just there, with all 1 million, I'm going to go to America. Why never them face mask? I'm going to you. But Jama Paki and Movies, and why you know? No, I didn't 1 million. You work out. Yabre. You ever see the other day? Ever see? You see quite. Yeah, they can't say anything. You're packing a cash. Police in the bar. You are not to the bar. You are to the bar. You are to the
Meanwhile, commuters were left stranded at Tech Junction as there were no commercial vehicles to carry them to the Central Business District. Godwin Okumanyame is the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly's Public Relations Officer.
We can create a terminal at in all the locations within the metropolis. I don't think so. I think there are procedures that we follow. If you come to KMA, we have the Transport Commission, which engages transport or commercial transport operators, when there's a need for us to, establish or, create a station somewhere. So basically, I think all that they have to do is to go through the due process by, engaging the Transport Commission of the Assembly for them to see the possibility if there's an area around the tech junction as to where that station can be created. But I think specifically today's demonstration, well, I don't know, today's demonstration was not directed to the KMA, but rather to the police.
Efforts to speak with the police were unsuccessful. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report from the Ashanti region.
We're staying in Kumasi, where over 300 mechanics, decorators and traders at Swami Decoration in the metropolis have been affected by a demolition exercise Monday morning. The exercise, according to authorities at the Metropolitan Assembly, is to pave way for the construction of stores and sub-metro offices. But the victims of the exercise say they were not giving prior notice and have called for government to intervene. Another report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin.
Wooden structures, buildings and containers were pulled down in the exercise with bulldozer supervised by combined military and police team. Victims had to scurry off with their properties into the open. They described the action of the assembly as insensitive.
Masa yede we also only ever physical ye ni ahode ye ni tire ye jan na so wo sa no ma ye dia masa bi do nyame ye se do ma fatu tumu ye dia ko ebbo o so mo be dia mo ba ma bubu ye shop ya ya we se mu ye kana mu sa twa bi ko ke mi no mu kira ko ke mi se die nti se mo twa mu se ya no gya na aboye be kasa obi amafo kasa isisi wono ai se ye ho edwan se mu se be gigi kasa dia ko ye so ko ties kan sanji kana na se dia mo ni ben kwane dia yo.
City authorities would not speak to the team about victims' charges, but sources from the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly say the victims and the assembly had come to a settlement that each of them would receive a compensation of 1,000 Ghana cedis and be relocated. Sources also indicate the assembly had several communications with the victims before the exercise, but some of the victims of the exercise insist there was no such an agreement. They say government will have to intervene.
Bubu Hassan, Abeya Muso Mama Baby say Yanko, came for assassin, Matadisi for assassin. Yes, assassin, Yamuso Biama Baby, I say Yanko. Yanko, any Atiani no Amokan wasem. And yes, that's what Munkabi my baby, Didier, woman to ya, Yani, my Kwamba Sonia Befa sorry, ma.
Say we will be compensation. Now there be audio more be so you need a dika buy Mr. Boachi. Or buy no dream be buy list be buy say o mama compensation. Now so be a compensation hana. Then chairman now here can say garages zone 24 acting chairman no. Or now woman in Koshi aye and no G sika and no the be in container but here be my iska.
Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report from the Ashanti region for Joy News.
Back here in Accra, beginning next month, all mental health patients caught roaming the streets of Accra will be forcibly seized and sent to the psychiatric hospital for treatment. The move comes at a time when the few mental health facilities in the country are severely constrained. But Acting Chief Executive of the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Osei Asare, said there are plans to expand access so the current facilities do not suffer.
Though there has been some restructuring by the Ministry of Health to overhaul the current mental health centers in 2013, implementation of the mental health law faces great challenges. Since its enactment in 2012, a government fund that needed to be established to see to the overall operations of mental health delivery in the country is yet to materialize.
We are preparing the LI as of now. We've already finished the first technical draft. We are going to have a stakeholders meeting on the 15th of April. So you have a national consensus on the LI, and then it will go to the Attorney General and to Parliament for it to be passed. So once you have the mental health fund established, then we have regular source of flow of money. And with that money, we will then be able to improve the lot of the existing psychiatric hospitals. Until then, we will still largely require the government of Ghana subvention to be coming, which as at now is not coming exactly the way you want it. So the hospitals are still, as at now, we are in distress of some sort. We are, no doubt about it.
But the board intends to start clearing mental health persons off the streets by next month, and the exercise, which would begin on a pilot basis in Accra, would subsequently be rolled out in other regions.
Now, this exercise will not really affect or will not be hampered by our financial distress that we have now. In part of the financial distress, we are feeding the patient, and we are only going to bring 10 to up to the 485. That will not change much or will not worsen our plight.
Meanwhile, decentralization of mental health care is also set to begin 3 months after Operation Clear the Streets, with dedicated psychiatric wings set up at the various district and regional hospitals.
Eventually, we are going to have regional psychiatric hospitals, standalone psychiatric hospitals in every regional capital. That will have between 40 to 50 beds. So if a patient from the regional hospital, psychiatric wing of the regional hospital, is not well enough and requires to be kept longer, then he'll be sent to the regional psychiatric hospital for another period of more than 1 month. It's only when that patient is still not well enough and requires further treatment that will be brought down to the 3 established psychiatric hospitals, Accra and Kafo Pantan.
This, Dr. Osei Asare hopes, would greatly improve and raise the bar in mental health care delivery in the country.
And now to the good news I was telling you about earlier. Deputy Central Region Minister Queensa Puku-Asoya has donated 1,200 cedis for the surgery of little Ezekiel, who has been living with hernia for more than 5 years because his mother could not afford a 200 cedi surgery. Young Ezekiel has been missing out on education because of the condition. His story, which first aired on Joy News last Saturday, touched many hearts. Hopefully, now that the money for the surgery is available, 6-year-old Ezekiel can look forward to living life as a normal child. Some representatives of the Deputy Central Region Minister presented the money on behalf of the minister. Joy News anchor Kemini Amano received the donation on behalf of Ezekiel's guardians.
She heard that a little boy needed help financially so that he could be healed, and it touched her heart. She has passion for children. When you go to her constituency, for instance, she is helping a lot of children. She is sponsoring them in their educational courses, and she feels that as a woman, as she is called Abatampa, she just want to donate towards the boy's health needs so that the boy can be healed, so that he can grow up to become a useful citizen. Apart from that, according to our Honorable MP, when the mother was interviewed, she said that she only sells pure water to make a living. And so she thinks that she has to also help the woman financially to expand her business so that she can get time to concentrate on healing, keeping to the boy.
Up next, we bring you business news. Stay tuned.
So a lot of news making rounds in the business world, of course. I'm here to update you. My name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. First up, government has put on hold its plans to raise another $1 billion from foreign investors by next month. Joy Business gathers that this has been influenced by what managers of the economy describe as bad market conditions. A source tells Joy Business government would return to the market when the conditions improve. My colleague George Yafi has joined me in the studio for more on this. George, how are you doing?
Not bad, Abigail.
Well, let us understand, when the government says that bad market conditions, what is this supposed to mean?
The fact is that when they go out on the international market, the investors out there will be asking more interest when they should lend out to them. I mean, we need to pay us more. So that is what they describe as bad market condition. Now we know the U.S. economy is picking up, so every investor out there will prefer to lend to the U.S. government compared to the Ghanaian government. And that is what they describe them. The conditions now are not good for them to go out. Again, there are issues about the fundamentals of the economy. So it will be very, very expensive for government to go out and borrow from those investors out there. That is why they describe that the timing is not good, because we gather that all other things being equal, they would have gone out by the end of April to raise this $1 billion.
Now, putting a hold on this Eurobond issuance, what does it mean for the economy? Any implications at all?
It has serious implications. Now, we know that some projects in the budget, we're going to use this $1 billion to fund them. So if there's a brief hold up now, how are we going to fund those projects? Now again, we know that for a fact that there are some debts, or government has gone out to borrow some money from investors, so they would have used a fraction of this funds to settle that. Now, so what are they going to do? I mean, so government needs more money right now to run the economy, and if this money is not coming in, we're hoping that this money will come in around May. So there are some challenges there. So should we go back to the CDB loan? A little bit of challenge, or raise more taxes to get money to run the economy.
Well, thank you very much, George, for joining us with these updates. So we would get us the answers for these questions that are being raised, and would move away from the Eurobond. And Ghana is on Wednesday, March 26th, expected to sign an economic partnership agreement with the Third World Network. Africa says will allow duty-free, quota-free 75% of goods imported from the European Union into Ghana and other West African countries. The group, which has always been opposed to the agreement because of the implications for local business, has petitioned the president in a last-minute bid to stop the signing. SNMC has more.
The Third World Network, which was at the head of a group that met President Mahama to petition him against signing the EPA agreement, briefed newsmen on the meeting. The group, with representatives from the Trades Union Congress, Chamber of Commerce, Socialist Forum of Ghana, and Economic Justice Network of Ghana, says the agreement, though opens the doors for Ghana to export to the EU, will kill local industry.
You can't get to a middle income level and then you backtrack and take policies that will take you to the LDC level. That is why the EPAs, again, is not acceptable. The other point we all need to appreciate is this. This is not a free trade agreement. On the free trade agreement, the other parties are allowed to, exploit their abilities, capacities to compete. This one is not so. You are being locked into a treaty that does not allow you to ever grow. That is not free trade. In fact, this is the worst form of a mercantilist trade agreement.
The group is especially worried exposing local goods to the competition from their already established European brands will kill the local industry.
The last meeting, 3 countries said, we want to go and consult. Otherwise, this thing would have been closed in February. They said, we want to go and consult. Togo, weak. You think Togo, Mali, and Nigeria. They said, we want to go and consult. And people are to agree, because committing your country is a serious choice. This thing, it's about pressure and people caving in, okay? The Europeans are desperate to lock in a competitive advantage in the face of losing space in their colonies. It's important to understand where this thing is coming from. We did not initiate the negotiations from the EPAs. We are not demanders. We've been reacting to demands on us from the Europeans from day one.
The group adds not signing the agreement will save the domestic sector, jobs, future policy space, etc., which are practically priceless. On Wednesday, March 26, Ghana is expected to join other ECOWAS Council ministers in Yamoussoukro, Côte d'Ivoire, to sign this ECOWAS EP agreement. Even though the Third World Network has appealed to governments not to go along, the decision will ultimately be governments. At Onamse, Joy News.
Well, time will tell if government will heed to this particular call. But moving on to other stories, Ghana would now be able to turn to the International Monetary Fund for technical assistance in managing the economy. Apart from financial support, this follows the formal opening of IMF's office in Accra to support Ghana and other Anglophone countries in West Africa. The office is expected to offer some help to Ghana, especially in the areas of revenue mobilization and poverty reduction. Director of the African Department at the IMF, Antoinette Saye, says the fund is committed to assisting countries like Ghana that have made some great strides in the region. Chairman of Parliament's Select Committee on Mines and Energy, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, has refuted allegations that Parliament on Friday approved 2 new oil contracts and their certificate of urgency. The House ratified 2 agreements for exploration of oil at the expanded shallow water tunnel block and the central tunnel block offshore by some 5 foreign companies. Energy think tank, the Africa Center for Energy Policy, has accused Parliament of failing to adequately scrutinize the contracts. But Dr. Kwabena Donkor says the concerns are unfounded. And that's it for business. My name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. Sports is up next.
And the Ghana FA has taken delivery of a new Premier League trophy from headline sponsors First Capital Plus Bank. The trophy, which is paraded through the principal streets of Accra on this arrival, will be handed to winners of the Ghanaian top flight. FA boss Kwesi Nyantakyi expressed delight on seeing the trophy, which becomes the 2nd largest in the world.
First Capital Plus Bank indicated that they had a package for supporters. This partnership is unique in so many ways because this is the first time a sponsor will be rolling out something to support supporters. In addition to that, there are many other surprises that we'll be seeing during the season, and that will make this partnership unique. Without being prejudiced, I'm sure that among the 16 Premier Division clubs, they know who will be winning the trophy. I don't know. I don't know whether it's King Faisal or Inter Allies or Hearts of Oak or Wow Stars. But whoever annexes this trophy will be making history as the winner of the 2nd biggest trophy in the world. But having won it, we'll be taking it back and we'll replace it with a miniature one, the smaller one. In fact, the miniature trophy itself qualifies as a trophy for the championship. It's so big that it could have been given out as the trophy for the winner of the league.
The committee of the Ghana FA has sanctioned Premier League sides Adriana Stars and the Botswana Dwarfs following a dismissal of cases brought up to the committee against Accra Hearts of Oak. Both sides have been ordered to pay 5,000 Ghana cedis each. Protests filed against Hearts of Oak by 2 clubs for failing to pay within time a cost following their termination of David Duncan's contract has been dismissed by the disciplinary committee of the Ghana Football Association. Adriana Stars and the Botswana Dwarfs in separate cases against Hearts of Oak claimed that the respondent failed to pay 5,000 Ghana cedis for costs of proceedings within the stipulated 14-day period after the Player Status Committee found them guilty for breach of contract for the dismissal of their coach David Duncan. However, in the ruling of the disciplinary committee, the cost awarded against Hearts of Oak by the Players Status Committee is not specific to decisions of the disciplinary committee that can lead to a forfeiture of matches. Following the dismissal of both cases, a cost of 5,000 Ghana cedis each has been awarded against both clubs. Right, so certainly there's been a frenzy about, the Ayite Pies Bukom Banku fight. The promo has gotten to another level this time. Yesterday, a spirit that's actually supposed to be ensuring that Ayite Pies' career doesn't go on had been delivered. That means that Ayite Pies has been saved, and definitely he's ready for it again.
In effect, it's taking a spiritual significance.
That's right. So the fight has moved to another level. Watch this.
Who are you to him? I said I want to go. Pray in the name of Jesus Christ. The past is over. Give thanks to God. Thank God.
Pasado está terminado.
God, thank you. God, thank you.
If I eat about this travel to Nigeria to go and buy powers to come and beat me, we are all waiting. I'm waiting for the powers that day.
All right, so there's a bout on the 18th of April. I mean, it's been talked about. And, you know, it's
supposed to be breaking all the records.
Exactly. So how is this spiritual deliverance going to affect the bout? You know, what has Bukom Banku been saying about it? Because Bukom Banku is the guy he's going to be, you know, facing on the 18th of April.
And Bukom Banku has this response. He says that whether Yite Powers gets delivered of a lot of demons, or he goes to the Mami Water, or he goes to see the devil, whatever this guy does, he's definitely going to have that. I think we have a tape of that. Let's listen to Bukom Banku and his response. So we come back to it, you know.
People go everywhere, everywhere. If you go everything, we go to do everything. We go to buy to do. We go to the church of prayer. Me, I don't care. I told Powers could please that fight down on the APCP. Stop by it about it. You cannot travel. Always he say he go here. Listen to me. If you are a good boss and he goes spiritual background Nigeria to go and buy powers to come and beat me, we are all waiting. I'm waiting for the powers that day. People are taking you like a genuine. Always they lose the fight. You fight 400. You fight 500. I'm waiting for the fight. If I the boys go to anywhere, any church, anywhere, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah. He's not afraid of any power.
I like the rhyme to it. He says, if Yite Powers goes to Nigeria to buy powers,
even that will not work. He says, whatever Yite Power wants to do.
I guess we just have to wait till the 18th of April.
Who are you rooting for?
Well, it looks like Bukom Banku for me.
Yite Powers, we have been delivered, so we're going to get
But before you go, you know, there was this first story about the
lovely trophy.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be the second largest trophy in the world.
You want me to explain that to you?
Okay, but I'm hearing. Okay,
90 centimeters is, I mean, the largest in terms of the height as well. The English Premier League has 104 centimeters. So
okay, people are dismissing it. They've been dismissive. They're suggesting it's probably the second largest Conco.
The highest. Why are you calling it the Conco? Come on.
I'm not calling it the Conco.
It's not. This is the second highest. You can use that, okay? Second highest and largest, of course. So 90 centimeters, not Conco. I mean, lovely trophy. The teams are going to play well and they're going to win. Let's keep a pusher, please. Have a Conco, don't try to use it for it. Now we hope for sports. He'll join us with some more. Good night.
Now, to crown a week-long Francophone festival, a concert has been held for patrons at Alliance Francaise with some of the best musicians from around Francophone Africa.
What better way to end a week-long festival? The Alliance Francaise over the weekend hosted the French in Ghana and beyond in an exciting concert. Renowned artists were drawn from Congo, Benin and Togo. The artists ensured their fans had great time as they performed some of their hit songs. After a delightful performance, they shared some of their experiences with us.
Since I'm here, the energy I got here is amazing. So Ghana is good. I must say, apart from Chame Kwame Sarkodie, because I love his flow. The way it's flow, you see, it's like Ningas Alogeto, Manyata, Ganzotona, and you see that flow. I like it, your Sarkodie and Samini.
It's amazing because I see back the laugh, the smile of Ghanaian girls and Ghanaian boys, and everybody has been so kind, so happy to see me and my band, the musicians, and it's so marvelous for me.
Some patrons also shared their excitement with us.
I came from Benin to support Sesime. I like her so much because she do a great work.
Great, and she have a lot of energy when she's dancing, turning her head and come back to sing again and go and dance. It's all very great.
Both the performers and patrons are anxious about the next Francophone Music Festival.
That'll be all for Showbiz, but there's a programming announcement I'd like to share with you. Do you know your rights regarding arrest, detention, and general police procedure? Do you even know what constitutes an infringement to your basic human rights? PM Express tonight at 9 p.m. That's after this bulletin brings to you part 2 of the program, Cleansing the Ghana Police. Chief Superintendent Na Hamza Yakubu, commanding officer of the formed police unit, and Mina Mensah of the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative will join Nanansa Kwao live in studio. Joining the conversation on phone is Gifty Enimboche, a retired police commissioner. So do stay tuned to share your thoughts and experiences with the team.
Showbiz was brought to you by...
For the bulletin, before I go the quick run through our top stories, after a long break, following the destruction of its auditorium by fire, the Judgment Debt Commission has resumed sitting to hear what is being described as an attempt to swindle the state of hundreds of thousands of Ghana cedis in claims. Suspect arrested in what the police say was an attempt to set the Makla market on fire. Trainee teachers demonstrate to demand restoration of scrapped allowances. Meanwhile, elsewhere, commercial drivers in Kumasi also refuse to work in protest of what they say is harassment and extortion by the police. And Mental Health Authority downplays fears plan to forcibly remove mental patients from the streets of Accra will be challenged by already stretched facilities. That'll be all for the bulletin. My name is Israel. Have a good evening.